Yeah, I'm asking the kind of a little bit opposite question. When to stop T-DXd?
Ah,
So for yeah, for HER2 low disease, so after treatment achieved basically no active disease. So that's one. Another one is for HER2 positive. Similar situation after T-DXd, such a good response, no active disease. How long to keep that? Yeah, like for the first patient, had a dose reduction, just about the fatigue, very profound. After dose reduction up to 50%, I don't want to. I think further reduction will be meaningless. So when to stop?
all right. So the question is when to stop in both types of patients, the HER2 lows and also the HER2 positive. Your thoughts?
We don't have data to make me comfortable. Again, I'm stubborn. We don't have good data for us to stop at any point. And the concern has been if I stop the treatment too prematurely and if the doesn't come back too quickly, how much response we're going to get. I feel comfortable to give them a break, but I'm not comfortable to just start to discontinue for all the patients. I'm just wondering, perhaps that if we have good biomarkers and MRD, can we use MRD to guide those treatments? I totally heard everyone that nausea, fatigue can limit the quality of life, but as of today, I do my best to keep it going, knowing that we don't have good data how long the treatment will be. Think about Herceptin. We have stage 4 patient on Herceptin for 10 years, and we have to do a clinical trial to see what is the time to discontinue. Yeah. I don't have a good answer for that, and I do my best to continue, and I'm hoping that we will have more clinical trial to answer that question.
Yeah, I totally agree. We need more clinical trial data. I do. I have thoughts. So one thing I will do, at least in the HER2 positive patients, is in those patients where there's no detectable disease, they have a complete clinical response. I have cheated a little bit and used whatever biomarkers I can get. If it's protein-based, fine. Some patients, if it's ctDNA, even though it's not very sensitive, I will use that, and then we can have a discussion with a patient to say, okay, it might be okay to back down from this. For the HER2 positive, it's a little bit different. You can't, and when patients have indolent bone disease, you can't really tell sometimes. Yep. So I'll try to use whatever markers I have, and I'll treat the best clinical response, and then it's a negotiation with the patient. In some ways, one of the most important studies out of ASCO, just practically speaking this year, was the one I referenced earlier with Hope Rugo, where they looked at re-challenging patients across 5 academic institutions, for patients who had grade 1 and in some cases grade 2 ILD. They looked at across any disease. It didn't matter if it was breast or lung or whatever. And basically they were able to re-challenge patients for the most part safely, and those patients got durable responses even after that, right? So this idea that if you're stopping it for anything other than progression, you might be able to revisit that. That's not a new concept. We've done that with the taxanes, we've done that with the platinums and ovarian cancer. So maybe it's something we can do here. But again, data-free zone, but that's just clinically, how we're practicing.
Yeah, but getting back to the ovarian cancer, 5% of my patients are ovarian cancer, right? We do that. When they are platinum sensitive, we give them a chemo break and wait for the next progression. And I think we can consider that. We just don't have a guideline, and we just don't have a good marker. So I would be very excited to wait for those results, and hopefully we have more results. Right. Yeah.